Now we be the voice that got talk true. For the land we done they so for silence too.
Hello my people, and welcome once again for this better edition of Voices of Vigilance. I just jammed this one video where I don't know whether to call an distraction I've been awaiting, especially now where Buhari dead and him legacy they hot for everywhere. Una know who show up again? Na Ghana. Una still remember that South Africa Nigeria Oba bold cyber wahala for October 2024, where Nigeria later knocked them better wutu. So te South Africa people even beg, can't apologize. Yes, now so it be for we country. Internally, we feel they drag each other, but make outside that triumph, then go collect sharp. Yes. Make I remind you as it take happen with this Justice Crack video.
Let me just give you a breakdown what really happened. It was just one overzealous South African guy who decided to be unfortunate by ordering a boat in Nigeria to a wrong location, or will I say not wrong location, and just order boat and cancel it. And he was so unfortunate enough, he should have just done it and kept quiet. But instead, he went to tweet it. He posted it on Twitter, and he forgot that Nigerians own Twitter. We are the owners of Twitter. Even Twitter knows that we own it. You understand? So he went to post it on Twitter, and upon hearing that, Nigerians said, no. You know, we had unfinished business with South Africans before, the issue of Chidinma.
Yeah.
You know, and we decided to ignore it. One thing you need to know about Nigerians is that we don't look for trouble. But when you bring it, we welcome it. We take it. We like to take the trouble from you. So, and we have unfinished business before, which we did not talk about. And this guy went to find trouble again. And Nigerians took it, okay, fine. We are more than 200 million people in Nigeria. Most of us, we are at least 34% of us are jobless.
Yeah.
And no matter how jobless we are, we can afford data. We can afford to be online. I've told you on this platform before that a Nigerian can leave food and buy data. So Nigerians took it upon themselves that, okay, since you South Africans want to be unfortunate today, we will teach you how to be unfortunate. And Nigerians took it upon themselves by ordering boats at a maximum level that even boats have to suspend a lot of people's accounts. And when boats suspend the account, they create new accounts and order one. And boats have to, suspend international ordering that Nigerians cannot order again. And Nigerians moved to Uber. And they did the same thing on Uber. And when Uber suspended the whole account again, they now realize, okay, what else are we going to do right now? Nigerians started ordering food, started ordering pizza to wrong locations, and started ordering plasma TV, washing machine to their houses. And it was so serious. It was so serious that their government official, the South African government account, the South African government, they have to use their account to apologize to Nigerians. One thing you need to know about us, we might have our differences at home. We might not like ourselves at home, but we are like siblings. We are like siblings.
Now another Ghana man don't show up face again. They give Nigeria a bitter pill to swallow. Anyway, make I not talk too much. Make I give una this video, make una watch to remind you.
Important issue to discuss. First of all, welcome to Tuntum Network. My name is Cyrus. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell for more of my videos. This is a tough one that I have to do, knowing the number of Nigerian friends I have and how this may affect our relationship moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact of the matter is this: the more we don't speak truth to one another in the face, the more it becomes everyone else's problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is our neighbor and friend. Nigeria is the heartbeat of Africa. They are the sound and rhythm of Africa to the world because of their sheer size and talents. That is undeniable. Africa's name, to some extent, goes as far as Nigeria goes in many ways. They are a force to reckon with, and that force, ladies and gentlemen, is also a problem to deal with. This is a country its people speak the loudest, both within and outside their borders, in spite of the many terminal challenges they face every day. This is a country whose spirit isn't easily broken. And if you are objective enough, you will concur with these facts, ladies and gentlemen. But a large percentage of the people of this country have chosen a pathway that cannot be encouraged, whether in Ghana, in South Africa, or in any part of the world. And this is what they have done. Ladies and gentlemen, they have given up on the fight to fix their own country and resorted to looking for what they couldn't achieve or cannot achieve in their own country, in other people's countries. And ladies and gentlemen, this shouldn't have been a problem, because every other African country actually does it, except that they are looking for this success by any means necessary and in the shortest possible time. This is the canker that plagues majority of young Nigerian immigrants anywhere they go. Shockingly, ladies and gentlemen, they are of the view that people outside of their country are not as driven and aggressive towards becoming successful as they are, not knowing that it is those same tendencies that's made their country the mess it is in. Many of them are therefore driven into all sorts of illegal enterprises anywhere they settle, getting rich by all means necessary in the shortest possible time. This is what Nigeria is being known for now. Who doesn't want this? But is that acceptable? It has gotten to the point that they don't care how a person makes their money, so long as the person makes their money. But you and I know that that's not how it's understood in other places. Nigeria, your people are running from your country as though the entire country is at war. Both men and women, young and old, to every other country. You have now become Africa's most emigrated country, meaning you have the largest number of people living abroad compared to any other African countries. This was true 20 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, and same today, and the number isn't slowing down because the factors that causes this is still expanding. Your social media content creators who indulge in politics are either doing it with comedy to trivialize the repercussions of their words, or are doing it outside of your country for fear of their lives. Almost every well-meaning person who speaks truth to issues in Nigeria lives outside of Nigeria. Fear and terror have hijacked your country at every front. There is no non-politician fighting for the change that can bring a difference in your country anymore. Almost every relevant voice in your country is either silenced or paid at this point. Therefore, the fight other countries have to put in to attain the peace you see and desire is what you have denied and declined. It doesn't work like this, Nigeria. Nigeria, instead of trying to make yourselves relevant in other countries, instead of trying to insert yourselves into the social fabric of other countries by all means necessary, how about this? How about you go back home and build your country? You have a country that could use a lot of the smart people. How be it, ladies and gentlemen, that the ones who claim to be smart are leaving or have left the country? Ladies and gentlemen, who have they left behind? How will you build your country like this? You have abandoned your country to politicians and cabals whose interest is similar actually to yours. And here is my explanation to that. Similar to yours in the sense that these politicians and cabals have conquered the country and now enjoy the monopoly of their powers and will hold on to it by any means necessary as long as they can. And that same spirit, ladies and gentlemen, is what most young Nigerians carry around to other countries. Are you any different, if I may ask? You want to dominate and entrench your dominion by all means necessary in the country you've moved to for as long as you can, just like your politicians and your cabals. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the chaos in your country, and the same chaos is being exported to other African countries and to most parts of the world. You have for years elected leaders with similar mindset that has been proven over time to not work, and you don't seem to change. You have allowed for a system that manipulates and rigs election in favor of people who are clueless about nation building to lead. You have a 73-year-old president who's definitely older than 73, complaining about Nigeria not producing anything to the media. The people are complaining to the government, and the president is complaining to the media. Ladies and gentlemen, can't you see the mismatch in those who lead your country and how that has been the crux of your challenges? Does the president of Nigeria know that it is his responsibility to handle this situation or not, ladies and gentlemen? Old man ruling the most dominant country in Africa, forcing every one of you to run to other places, seeking for change and recognition which you can't even find in your own home country. What other change is there for you apart from the changing of the leadership of your country for once in your lives, Nigeria? Now all of Africa will have to endure and suffer the onslaught of challenges many of your people migrate with. This cannot continue. And now an Igbo man running around in Ghana claims to be king. King of what exactly? If he is the king of Igbos as he claims, then it's more meaningful when he rules from an Igbo land, don't you think? Listen, I like the audacity with which he speaks and carries himself around, but I would love to see that same energy and audacity carried out in Nigeria instead. Could he have had such a voice in any village in Nigeria? He can only do this here because we, the Ghanaian people, have opened our doors to all. But this must stop. Mr. President of Ghana, be guided on how you go about this situation, because the youth of Ghana who made you president are talking on every platform on social media. Our voices are united against anything or anyone that would want to undermine our constitution. Mr. President, stop giving unnecessary validation to this man and his likes. The more he runs around associating and snapping pictures with you, the more he goes around parroting the idea of being someone of significance in our country, which he is actually not. You have a country to run, Mr. President. You must be busy. Your ministers of state and the members of parliament and all don't have to compromise on any level for this man. The Igbo man is a foreigner on our land and not a royal. He can be a king amongst his people in Ghana, but that shouldn't be carried out onto our own people. And ultimately, this is what I want to say to Nigeria. Claiming the giant of Africa's status for yourselves is not in words but in deeds. Be the giant at home first of all. Go home and begin the process of everything you are looking for out there. Go home and get it started. You have the men, you have the resources and the attention of the world. What you need is to direct it to where the problem originates. The problem is not in the system of Ghana or South Africa or how any country treats you, because those systems were not built for you. The problem is with your own broken system. You have the financial muscle to mobilize the needed funds for this cause if you choose, but that will be when you make that decision to choose to go and save your country. The people of Nigeria can set up their own political party if that's what will bring the change. But you cannot do that while living overseas or running all the time. You need men and women on the ground to play the role of foot soldiers, ladies and gentlemen. You must go back and be a part of the change you want, or else don't try effecting those changes in other people's countries. And to those Nigerians who refer to Ghana as small Ghana, listen, how do you say small Ghana when Ghana is nearly the size of the UK? The UK is a union of 4 countries, but less than 3% bigger than Ghana, yet controls the world's financial system. Would you call the UK small under any circumstance, Nigeria? I think you choose to be deliberate on denigrating Ghana's reputation by calling her small, simply because this is the only time you can feel proud about something or on any subject when compared to Ghana. It is not the size of the land or the population of the country that determines greatness, ladies and gentlemen, because if that were the case, the UK shouldn't be sitting at the G7. It is your ability to create the most value with what you have that matters, ladies and gentlemen. You have so much, yet you have so little to show for. Let this video rather trigger the anger that is in you, to fuel you to begin on the course for the change that's eluded your country all these years. Go back home and effect that change that you yearn for, or learn to live under the laws of the host countries in which you live. I hope I didn't offend you, but if I did, I had to, because you needed to hear this. And I'll be back with another one very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking time to watch this.
Honestly, I've been thinking say we feel just ignore this guy, especially with all the castle way full ground for Naija now. But one Nigeria no grew, and now that man, now the last person where you go think say go fit get time for this kind of small banter. The guy na Laborious Oshome. He shocked me as seeing him get time, reply this guy. Make una hear him first.
Migration is as natural as breathing, as eating, as sleeping. It is part of life, part of nature, and as Ellsworth Huntington puts it, history in its broadest aspect is a record of man's migration from one environment to another. So Ghanaians, be it known that Nigerians are not your problem. Antonio Guterres once said, migration powers economic growth, reduces inequality, and connects diverse societies. But yet, he won. It is also a source of political tension and human tragedies. And it is that human tragedy I felt when I listened to a video made by one guy named Cyrus of Tonton Network in Ghana. The video was actually sent to me by my friend and brother Mudia of Africa. In the video, Cyrus complained about Nigerians abandoning their country to bad leadership and coming to other countries, especially Ghana, to oppress and commit crime. And he particularly complained about the Igbo king in Ghana and admonished the Ghanaian president to distance himself from the guy. But I want to tell Cyrus, if that guy is not important electorally, the Ghanaian president will not so much associate with him. Even though Cyrus claimed to have loads of Nigerian friends, he could not hide his disdain for Nigeria as he spewed out lies, half-truth, and what have you about Nigerians, including our activists and our skit makers, which show that he's obviously jealous of them. Ordinarily, I no go respond to or blame people like Cyrus because our leaders put us for ground for people like him to the insult. But for posterity and for the hard-working Nigerians who are making a mark in all fields of human endeavor across the globe, there's need to respond, set the record straight, and raise their shoulders high. For the Bible in Exodus 23:9 said, "You shall not oppress the alien. You know well how it feels to be an alien, since you were once an alien yourself in the land of Egypt." Since Cyrus has forgotten and probably, he don't know, and decided to paint all Nigerians with one brush because of the antecedents of a few bad ones, let me remind him that Nigeria was once home to Ghanaians who were doing menial jobs here, including teaching. And we had many of them as friends, including coaching, Coach Tete. Maybe he has also forgotten how the military government of General Olusegun Obasanjo donated Peugeot cars to Ghanaian police force around 1977 and 1978. Whilst we agree that we have a lot of bad Nigerians everywhere, same way you have Ghanaians who are doing crimes outside of their country, we need to remind people like Cyrus that according to the Washington-based Migration Policy Institute, Nigerians are the most successful and educated immigrant group in America. Maybe that's why it's beefing. Our Nollywood movies, our skit makers, our music artists are putting African positively in the world map, not just West Africa. Not to mention people like Philip Emeagwali, our Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, our Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, our Professor Wole Soyinka, and whether she likes it or not, our Kemi Badenoch, and numerous mayors and members of parliament in UK, US, and Canada. Not even to mention the basketballers, footballers, including American football. And now let me drive it home because at the verse, the Ghana should remember why we choose to mention bad eggs. Let me remind him of the Nigerian banks and companies setting up shops in Ghana and providing employment opportunities for Ghanaians. Corporations like Zenith Bank, Access Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, Fidelity Bank, and even fintechs like Flutterwave, Plenty Waka, Remis Capital Ventures Garden, Multigate Solutions, Sandbox Software, Bento Technologies, and Instant Payment Solutions. Not to talk of other smaller supply chains, and including sell side. I don't even mention people like Alhaji Aliko Dangote and UBA of Tony Elumelu, who is, raising entrepreneurs across Africa and creating billionaires. How about the millions of dollars Nigerian students are pouring into schools in Ghana to survive most of those schools, including some on hitherto unknown colleges? I don't even want to mention the hotels that Nigerians are patronizing there. And a few months from now, we're also going to Ghana to celebrate the African Bar Annual Conference. And Nigerians will be the highest number of troops there. See, Ghana that was so bad that they had to knock off some zeros from their currency they talk, when others they talk. Anyway, I see maybe not because Ghanaian babes, they like Nigerian guys fast, because Nigerian guys, they burn cash for babe. Or maybe now our jollof rice, where they never see our jollof rice pass their own, and they made the guy the beef. Well, why not holding forth for the bad ones in our midst? Nobody is stopping the security agencies in Ghana from dealing with the crime and criminality in the country, irrespective of the nationalities of the perpetrators. So why the beef? It is the Idi Amin-like attitude such as this that is inhibiting the implementation of the African Free Trade Agreement. That is why somebody with a Canadian passport can travel into African countries, without visa. And an African is required to get a visa to go to African countries. I even remember as primary school students, we were meant to donate money for the black apartheid struggle in South Africa. And our government spent endlessly on that struggle. While our musicians like King Sonny Okosu fought for freedom to end apartheid in South Africa. And today South Africa self go to talk. Our government spent hard-earned money, including dollars, that would have been used for internal infrastructural development in our country. To maintain peace in West Africa through ECOMOG in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Congo. And we had a lot of refugees from these countries. We welcomed them with open arms, not because they are Nigerians, but because we are Nigerians and we are very accommodating. So no matter what you say, to date, Nigerians are still the most generous and accommodating people in Africa. Why it is not compulsory that the country of your birth must be the place of your abode all your life? Be it known that not all those who criticize our government that lives abroad. Our awesomeness as a country makes us always want to, talk about the affairs of our country wherever we find ourselves. And majority of us are here in Nigeria, putting our government on its toes as our agency like EFCC and ICPC are working tirelessly to eradicate fraud in our country. So face your small front and not use Nigeria as a trend. But I will therefore advocate. First it was South Africa, now Ghana. Very soon, countries like Benin Republic say they tell us to go home. Shameful. Our leaders should use this opportunity to correct the challenges in the country by embarking on necessary reforms and measures that will give us again our bragging right, no matter how bitter at the beginning, provided we get it right subsequently, instead of allowing unknown people to use us to trend unnecessarily. Anyway, before I verse, make I leave on here so that I can hear from you, your own comment in your comment section. Do not forget to subscribe and also feel free to share.
So people, how wanna take see this fresh brother-sister fight between Nigeria and Ghana? Make we carry them for head, abi make we just bone them. I beg drop your thoughts for comment section. Make we yarn.